story for the holiday. One day the prophet Elijah was walking down the road. Tradition tells us that Elijah comes to the world in many forms. Sometimes Elijah comes as an old man, sometimes as a young girl. Often Elijah arrives as a person in need of help. Oftentimes, too, Elijah comes to offer help. One day when people are ready, Elijah will announce the coming of the Messiah, and we'll all live in love, equality, happiness, and peace. At that time, a great shofar will be sounded. Like many people, Elijah is very eager for that day. So, as I said, one day Elijah was walking down the road. This time she'd showed up in the world as a young girl. She walked in the woods and she thought to herself, there's so much unhappiness. People are troubled. There's awful cruelty and injustice. And problems are left to linger. At this rate, the Messiah will never come. Elijah picked up her pace as if she could speed people along on their progress by walking faster. She walked and she thought, some people have health and good fortune while others suffer. Too many people are angry. They're not taking good enough care of themselves, or of each other, or of the planet. Humans need more kindness. They need more encouragement, more help all around. And then she came to a decision.
I have to find one person, just one person. If I can bring happiness and peace to just one person, then I'm sure the peace and happiness will spread.
Just at that moment, Elijah stumbled.
Watch where you're going.
Sorry, I didn't mean to bump into you. You seem troubled. What's the matter? Aren't the fish biting today?
No, the fish aren't biting. I'm just sitting and waiting for something to happen. If only I had another job. What wonderful things I can do in this world.
In that case, I can help. What do you want to do in this world?
I've always wanted to be a baker. Then I can help feed the hungry, and I'll be doing something that I enjoy.
Let it be so.
Instantly, the fisher boy found himself in a bakery, working in the kitchen. Just a few days later, Elijah came to visit. Unfortunately, the baker wasn't as happy as they both hoped. It turned out that the boy's feet hurt from standing up all day, and it was so hot in the kitchen. Plus, bakers have to get up very early in the morning.
This is a miserable job.
I can give you a better job. What do you want to do in this world?
Let me be a banker. Then I'll be happy.
Let it be so.
Instantly, the young man found himself in a bank. He wouldn't have to slave away in a hot kitchen anymore. He could lend people money and help people learn how to invest. He would have money to spare to share with the poor. And on top of all that, he could keep banker's hours and he wouldn't have to get up early again. A few days later, Elijah went to see him in the bank. But the newly minted banker was not as happy as they'd both hoped.
This is a miserable job.
It turned out he had to stay late at the bank. His eyes hurt from looking at numbers all day. It almost felt like his brain hurt too. The bank was so big and doing so many different kinds of things, he couldn't be sure whether he was helping people or not.
You can choose. What do you want to do?
Let me be a judge.
Very well. Now you can do good in the world and be happy while you do it.
Instantly, the young man was transported to the judge's chambers. He was excited to think how everyone would stand up when he entered the courtroom. He thought about how he would make fair decisions, and he would bring justice to everyone who entered his courtroom. A few days later, Elijah came to visit. Unfortunately, we would have to rule this experiment a failure. The judge was not happy.
This job is miserable.
It turned out that there was a lot of arguing and complaining in court, and the young judge wasn't sure how to get to the truth.
What would be good for you and also good for the world?
I think I would make a good general. I'd serve with strength and honor, and I'd enjoy being in command.
Well, let it be so.
Instantly, the young man found himself now a general. in a strategy session with the king. While they talked, the young general imagined himself receiving medals and lots of respect. He thought of the importance of defending his country and of keeping the peace. But it turned out that feeding the troops and taking care of all the equipment was exhausting. The young general had to answer to the king, and it proved very difficult to work toward peace while also preparing in case of war. Elijah knew what to expect.
This is a miserable job.
You can choose. What do you wish to do?
If I were king, then I'd be happy. I can sit on my throne and rule the land with justice and wisdom, and no one can tell me what to do.
Let it be so.
Instantly, the young man found himself on the throne. As king, he spent his days listening to the problems of his subjects and representing their interests to other kingdoms. At night, he greeted dignitaries and signed laws. He tried to make things better, but he was in charge of everything, including the military, the courts, the banks, the bakeries, even the fishing industry. You know the rest, don't you?
This is a miserable job.
You can choose. What do you wish to do?
I really think it'd be best if I were God. Then the whole world would go according to my plan, and everything would be the way it should.
Elijah realized that this experiment would not bring the Messiah any sooner. Getting every wish granted was not bringing the young man happiness or peace, and it certainly was not repairing the world. Elijah waved her hands one last time.
Let it be so.
Instantly, the fisher boy was back where he began, with a pole in his hand at the water's edge. It was as if nothing had happened, because he remembered nothing.
From now on, I will be more patient. People will have to find their own way to peace and happiness.
Just then, as will happen from time to time, a fish pulled on his line.
The fish got away, but the experience reminded me that I enjoy fishing. Maybe the fishing life isn't so bad after all. It's what I make of it.
Feeling happy and peaceful by the water, he decided to stay longer and keep at it. Another fish came along.
Shalom, I noticed you caught a fish.
Yes, it took some work, but I finally did. Have we met before?
I'm just passing through.
Well, if you're hungry, I can share my fish with you for dinner.
What a wonderful mitzvah.
I have plenty and I'm happy to share.
Happy to share. That's a good ending and a good start. As Elijah said, people will have to find their own way to peace and happiness. Ken Yehi Ratzon. So may it be.
Eliyahu HaNavi, Eliyahu HaTishbi, Eliyahu, Eliyahu, Eliyahu HaGiladi, B'meira b'yameinu, Yavo Eloheinu, Im Mashiach ben David, Mashiach ben David.
Tova, Yeladim. I just said Happy New Year, boys and girls, in Hebrew. We are glad to see you this morning. We have more great stories, songs, and videos to share with you.
I think we should start the day off singing Happy New Year in Hebrew. There are only 3 words in this whole song, and I know you can learn them. You can sing them to everyone after services are over. They will be so surprised to hear you sing in Hebrew. You already know 2 of the words. Lashana, Tova. Everyone say, Lashana, Tova.
Tova.
Let's hear it again.
Lashana Tova.
Excellent. Yes, the last word's a little long. Listen. Tik a tevu. Tik a tevu. Can you try to say tik a tevu? Your turn.
Tik a tevu.
Perfect. Tik a tevu. That wasn't so hard. Now we can put it all together. Lashana Tova Tika Tevu. Lashana Tova Tika Tevu. Your turn.
Lashana Tova Tika Tevu.
Perfect. Now we can try to sing it. Lashana Tova Tika Tevu. Lashana Tova. Lashana Tova Tika Tevu. Lashana Tika Tevu. Tika Tevu. Let's try it again. Lashana Tova Tika Tevu. Lashana Tova Tika Tevu. Tika Tevu, Tika Tevu. That was really, really nice.
Like that song. I was thinking there was so much to do to get ready for Rosh Hashana. I'd like to hear a story about how we get ready. Wouldn't you?
Yeah, we want to know because there's so much going on.
Okay, so we are going to hear a story called Is It Rosh Hashana Yet? And it's by Chris Barash.
Oh, boys and girls, look at this pretty picture. The boy and the girl have a basket, and it looks like it's full of all kinds of apples. I see red apples, yellow apples, green apples. Yummy. I'll bet the trees are so full of apples now. When summer's almost over, but we feel the bright sun's heat.
And the garden still has veggies that our family loves to eat. Rosh Hashanah is on its way.
When we take a Sunday car ride to the orchard that's nearby
and pick fruit for Daddy's applesauce and more to bake a pie, yum. Rosh Hashanah is on its way.
it's so exciting.
Oh,
When Mom buys pomegranates, a fruit I've never tried.
And we hope to do a mitzvah for each of the seeds inside. Rosh Hashanah is on its way. How many of you have tried a pomegranate? They're really delicious, sweet seeds.
Yeah, they're a little hard to eat, but they're very good. And all those seeds, we hope that we can do really good things all year like that.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yes.
When we cut our paper apples, all yellow, red, and green, and make cards for all our family, the best they've ever seen. Rosh Hashanah is on its way. Oh, and look at the cards. It says Lashana Tova.
They're working really hard on these cards. Wow. Do you work hard?
Yeah.
Are you making cards for your family? Did you make cards?
I'm going to make some cards. I have to get there. I'm going to make them because people love to get cards.
Yes, they do.
When Nana comes to visit and brings honey, sticky sweet, to eat with crunchy apples for our favorite New Year treat, Rosh Hashanah is on its way.
Well, it looks nice to have Nana come.
Yes.
Even if it's on Zoom, it's always nice to see Nana. When the month of Elu's ending and Tishray's coming fast, and from the shofar blower we hear a ram's horn blast, Rosh Hashana is on its way.
Oh yeah, they start blasting the shofar to make sure we get ready.
Yes, we do.
When people smile and say hello and Shana Tova too, what they're really saying is a good new year to you. Rosh Hashanah is on its way.
When so many people visit that there's no place left to sit,
And our living room is crowded, but no one cares a bit. Oh my, this year our living room will not be crowded,
no.
but maybe our Zoom screen will be crowded. And we'll see people from all over that maybe we wouldn't have seen.
When Nana lit the candles and blessings have been said,
And Mom calls, let's eat the brisket before it's time for bed. Oh, I can almost smell that brisket.
look at all those delicious food. Wow.
Yummy, yummy.
Rosh Hashanah is here.
Wow, that is so nice. Can't wait.
Well, does anyone remember why we celebrate Rosh Hashanah?
I do. That's when God made the whole world.
I know a song about all the days it took God to make the whole world.
Oh, could you teach it to me and all the boys and girls who are watching?
Yes, can you teach us? Can you teach all of us? Of course, we'd love to. The first thing you have to do is clap for us, like this. Even faster.
Okay, we're going to go a little faster, and we'll tell you when to clap. Watch when we clap. Once upon a time it was right at the start. The Lord said, I'm gonna make light and dark. The Lord said, clap, clap. Everyone clap, clap. It's the first day, and I did very good work today. And God made light and dark.
Once upon a time, it was day number 2. The waters were parted and heaven came through. The Lord said, it's the second day, and I did very good work today.
Once upon a time, it was day number 3. The land appeared covered with flowers and trees. The Lord said, it's the third day, and I did very good work today.
Once upon a time, it was day number 4. We had the sun and the moon and the stars galore. The Lord said, it's day 4, and I did very good work today.
Once upon a time, it was day number 5. We had fish in the water and the birds in the sky. The Lord said, it's the 5th day, and I did very good work today. Oh, there's the fish in the sea. Oh, I got it upside down, guys.
Birds in the sea.
Here we go. The birds are now in the sky, and the fish are now in the sea, right where God wanted them.
Once upon a time, it was day number 6. The people and animals were here to mix. The Lord said, sixth day, and I did very good work today.
Whoa, pretty. Oh, it's animals. Look at all the animals. And I see the people, Adam and Eve. Oh, God did very good work.
Very good work.
Once upon a time, it was day number 7. The Lord said, I finished the earth and the heavens. The Lord said, it's the 7th day, and I'm gonna rest all day today. Yes, Lord said, it's the 7th day, and I'm gonna rest all day today. And we rest on the 7th day too, and we have our Shabbat on Friday night and all day Saturday. And Friday night we light the candles and we pray for peace and health for everybody. And we have challah, and we have our wine, and we say thank you, God, for our beautiful world.
Some of us have grape juice instead of wine, but it's just.
And some of us have grape juice, but it's all made with grapes. That's the important thing.
Grape wine or grape juice?
Yes.
Okay, so you know what we're going to do now? We are going to read a book about a little boy who figured out a way to give the world a birthday party. Remember, this is the birth of the world. Do you know what it's called? It's called The World's Birthday. And the story is by Barbara Diamond Golden, and the pictures are by Jeanette Winter. So we're going to hear this story.
The World's Birthday. Another wonderful Rosh Hashana story written by Barbara Diamond Golden. And the pictures are by Jeanette Winter. And these are beautiful pictures. Daniel loved Rosh Hashana. He would wear his new clothes for the holiday. On the way to synagogue, he would step on the fallen leaves, crunch, crunch. He could almost hear the sound of the shofar, the horn the cantor blew, calling, wake up, wake up. Best of all, everyone in the neighborhood would stop to wish him Happy New Year.
How many more days until Rosh Hashana? Daniel asked his papa one bedtime. He knew it was soon. Mama was already mixing dough for the round braided egg bread that's called challah. 2 more days, Papa said. Now come to bed, you two, he called to Daniel's sisters, Leah and Naomi. Why do I have to go to bed when they do? Complained Naomi. I'm the oldest. Because I only have time for one bedtime story, said Papa. What'll it be? Tell us about Rosh Hashana, said Daniel. I know the Purim story and the Passover story, and I know that one, Naomi interrupted. Rosh Hashana is the world's birthday. You're right, Papa said. On Rosh Hashana, we celebrate the time when God created all things.
Yes. On my birthday, I have a party, said Daniel. Could we have a party for the world? But what would you do at a party like that? Asked Papa. I would have a cake and burn candles and invite the whole world. Please, me too, said little Leah. Of course you too, said Daniel. He pulled affectionately on Leah's blankie. Could we have such a party, Papa? A party for the world's birthday? What a stupid idea, said Naomi. Talk to me tomorrow, said Papa.
The next day, Daniel hadn't forgotten the birthday of the world. Mama, he asked, can we go to the bakery so I can buy the biggest cake Mr. Gutman has for Rosh Hashana? Why do you want to buy a cake, Daniel? Mama asked. Naomi and I are making those nice honey cakes. It's the world's birthday, Daniel told her. But you can't have a party for the world, said Naomi. It's much too big to fit into our house. Daniel looked all around the house, in the kitchen, in the living room, in the bedrooms, even in the bath. There was not enough room for the world. Maybe Naomi was right. Oh, I know, said Daniel. I'll ask Mr. Gutman. He knows all about parties and birthday cakes.
Okay, then. Naomi walked Daniel to the bakery. She shook her head at him at every other step, but Daniel didn't notice. He bought the biggest cake in the bakery window with the money Mama had given him. Mr. Gutman gave him a few pennies change. It's for a party for the world, he told Mr. Gutman. Rosh Hashana is the world's birthday.
In all the years I've been selling challah and honey cakes for Rosh Hashana, I never knew that, said the baker. How do you make a party for the world? I was going to ask you that, Daniel said. Maybe you should ask your grandfather instead, said Mr. Gutman. He's a rabbi. He would know if anyone does. I will. But please, Mr. Gutman, will you come to my party? Daniel asked. Don't worry, I'll come, said Mr. Gutman. Maybe you'll want some candles before you go for the birthday cake? Oh, I forgot, said Daniel. 1, 2, 3, he counted out his pennies. You don't even have enough for one box, said Naomi. Here, take 4 boxes, said Mr. Gutman. It's on me. After all, the world is not a young chicken. Thank you, said Daniel. Wow.
Yeah, I bet the world needs a lot of candles.
A lot of candles, too many candles.
Daniel and Naomi put the boxes of candles in their pockets, and together they carried the cake down the street to Grandpa's house. They knocked on his door. Grandpa, said Daniel, since it's Rosh Hashana, and Rosh Hashana is the world's birthday, I want to make a birthday party for the world. Have you ever seen a party for the whole world? No, said Grandpa. I've never heard of anyone making a birthday party for the world. Isn't the world too big to come to a party? See, I told you, said Naomi. Grandpa looked thoughtful. There is something you could do. What, Grandpa? On Rosh Hashana, people like to make cards for each other and wish each other a good new year. Maybe you could make a card for the world and wish for a good new year for everyone and everything. But the party tonight. Don't worry, said Grandpa. Gently, he touched Daniel's shoulder. I'll come tonight. You can show me the card then. I will, said Daniel.
He and Naomi walked back to their house, Daniel carefully carrying the cake. Now, what are we going to do with it? Asked Naomi. We'll still have the party, said Daniel. Naomi put her hands on her hip. You can't do that. You can't have the party without the guest of honor. Don't worry, said Daniel. Don't you worry. I'll think of something.
After supper, Daniel began to work on the card. As he drew, he remembered the story Papa told him of how God created the world, of how God made darkness and light first, then the sky and the land, and all the other things.
Daniel drew the stars, the sun, and the moon in his pictures. He made fish, birds, animals, and people. When he finished his drawing, he thought about his mother giving him the money for the cake. He thought about the baker and the boxes of candles. He thought about his grandfather and the card with all the things that God had created. Suddenly, he knew how he could have a party for the whole world. What do you think it is? What do you think he's going to do?
That night, Mr. Gutman and Grandpa came to Daniel's house. Daniel led them all outside. Mama, Papa, Leah, Naomi, Mr. Gutman, and Grandpa. Why are we going outside? Naomi asked. You'll see, Daniel answered. He walked in front of them, carrying the big birthday cake into the night, close to the sky and the trees and the grass and the animals and the whole world.
He put the cake down on the grass and reached into his pocket for the candles. Daniel began to place them on the cake. Naomi was the first to understand. I guess you can have a party for the world. Let me help, she said. Thanks, said Daniel. When they finished, Mama lit the candles. So many, Leah said. That's because the world is so old, Daniel answered. The candles blazed against the darkness.
Oh, everybody's gathered.
Oh, what a birthday celebration.
Nice big grassy area where everybody fits so nice. And look at all the candles on that cake. Wow. That's a lot of candles to blow out.
Yes, it is. Let's sing Happy Birthday World, Daniel said. They sang, and Daniel sang loudest of all. Just as they finished the song, a strong breeze came along. Whoosh! It blew out all the candles. Daniel looked up at the sky and smiled. I hope you remember to make a wish first, he said to the world.
Was that a great birthday?
Oh, yes. I think we enjoyed it.
That was a great...
Can we do the same at home?
That was a great birthday. And how do you know? I think that Daniel knew that God was there. How do you think Daniel thought God was there?
Well, I think I know, because the candles were blown out, and he wasn't blown out by any of them.
Yes, and they came from above with a swoosh of air that God made. Yes. Yeah, I think so. Oh, God was really watching. God always watches.
Yes, he does. Hashem certainly does.
He certainly does. You know, I just thought of this. Hashem is here. Hashem is there. Should we sing that?
Yes, let's do that.
Why don't we just sing that?
Yes.
Hashem is here. Hashem is there. Hashem is always everywhere.
Up, up, down, down. Here, there, and everywhere.
Up, up, down, down. Here, there, everywhere. That's where God can be found.
That's where God can be found. We did it!
Yay! I like that song. And that made me think of God being everywhere all the time. And
yes,
you saw his big birthday.
Yes, yes. I like that.
Boys and girls, now we're going to read a story about a little spider named Sammy. He lives in the Shapiro's house with his mother. He's a very curious little spider and watches the Shapiro family get ready for Rosh Hashana. Let's visit the Shapiro family and find out what Sammy sees in Sammy Spider's First Rosh Hashana, written by Sylvia Rouse and illustrated by Catherine Janice Kahn. Sammy's spider dangled from a silky strand of webbing near the big picture window in the Shapiro's living room. "Look, Mother," he said, pointing with one leg. "Here comes the mail carrier with more cards for Shapiro. Why has she been delivering so many cards this week?"
Mrs. Spider looked lovingly at Sammy. Soon the Shapiros will be celebrating Rosh Hashana. Those cards are from family and friends who are wishing them a Shana Tova, a happy new year, says Mrs. Spider. Will we get cards too? Sammy asked hopefully. Silly little Sammy, Mrs. Spider said. Spiders don't celebrate Rosh Hashanah. Spiders spin webs.
Which reminds me, our web is getting a little crowded. When you were born, we lived in a small web. Now our web is middle size. But you grew so much over the summer that we need to spin a large one.
Sammy wasn't paying attention. He was hanging above the shelf watching Mr. Shapiro display the new cards. They were all different sizes. Some were large, some were middle-sized, and some were small. Aren't they beautiful, Mother? Sammy sighed. Oh, aren't they beautiful?
Oh, that's so exciting, and he can make such beautiful cards now. I love the colors. But before Mrs. Spider could answer, Sammy scurried across the ceiling to the Shapiro's kitchen. Mrs. Shapiro and Josh were kneading dough and shaping it into circles. "What are they doing now?" he called to his mother. "They're making round challahs for Rosh Hashanah," she answered. "Mrs. Shapiro is making a large challah for the family, a middle-sized challah for the neighbors, and Josh is making a small challah for himself." And do you know why they are making round challahs, boys and girls? That's not the shape we eat usually on Friday night. It's because the challah is shaped like the world, and the world is round. "Can we make a challah too?" Sammy asked. "Silly little Sammy," laughed his mother. "Spiders don't need dough. Spiders spin webs."
The next morning, Sammy woke to a chopping sound in the kitchen. Mr. Shapiro was slicing apples, big red ones, middle-sized yellow ones, and small green ones. Wow.
Which one do you like best?
I think I like the sweet yellow ones, but I also like red ones too.
I think I like the red ones the most. Yeah, green ones are very good for cooking.
Yes.
They're very good to put in pies. Very pretty apples.
Lots of different colors. It makes it very decorative.
Yes. Oh, now what are they doing?
Mrs. Spider came over to Sammy. Rosh Hashanah begins tonight. At dinner, the Shapiros will dip apples into honey for a sweet new year. Can we dip apples too? Silly little Sammy, said Mrs. Spider. Spiders don't dip apples. Spiders spin webs.
Honey is really sweet. The next morning, everyone got dressed up to go to synagogue. Mr. Shapiro put on his big gray coat. Mrs. Shapiro wore her middle-sized red coat, and Josh put on his small blue jacket. I can't wait for the rabbi to blow the shofar, Josh exclaimed as they left the house. Oh, Josh loves to hear the shofar. I do too. Don't you?
I do too. I think you all should listen for the sounds. It's beautiful. Josh and his family are going to services, Mrs. Spider whispered to Sammy. The rabbi will blow the shofar to welcome the new year. Can we go too? Asked Sammy. Silly little Sammy, Mrs. Spider said, shaking her head. Spiders don't go to synagogue. Spiders spin webs. Come help me spin our new, larger web.
Instead, Sammy swung down to the kitchen counter and crawled toward the bowl of apples. In his excitement, he stepped into a drop of spilled honey. All of a sudden, he couldn't move. Oops! His 8 legs were stuck. He struggled to free himself. Poor Sammy!
Oops, that honey is very sticky.
It is.
Help, Mother, he cried. The honey won't let me go. Mrs. Spider lowered herself on the strand of webbing and tried to pull Sammy free. She pulled and she pulled until she had to catch her breath and pull some more.
Oh, that's hard work. It's very sticky stuff.
Yes.
Sammy began to cry. As he bent his face to wipe away the tears, a drop of honey got in his mouth. Mmm, it tasted sweet. Sammy took a little swallow, then a middle-sized swallow. And soon he was taking great big swallows of honey. Before he knew it, he wasn't stuck anymore.
Mrs. Spider scooped Sammy up and held him close. He still felt a little sticky. See, Mother? Spiders can have a sweet new year. All you have to do is dip me in honey. Mrs. Spider hugged Sammy closer. The Shapiros can celebrate a sweet new year by picking you up, she laughed. But I'm just happy to have a sweet you near. So Sammy was sweet, and Mrs. Spider is licking him up.
Ah, so
Yes.
everybody should have a sweet year.
Yes. Just don't lick on the spider.
That was a nice story. And Sammy Spider learned a little bit about Rosh Hashana. And he's heard Josh blast his shofar. And he saw all those pretty cards. That's a good start. And now we're going to do a little shofar blowing and learning right now. We're going to pretend to blow a shofar because the shofar is so important for Rosh Hashana. Because long, long ago, there were no telephones. People couldn't call each other up and say, hello, and give their friends news. And people lived scattered all over the mountainside, not always so close to each other.
What could they do when something so important as Rosh Hashana was about to come? How could everyone be told to get ready? I can see that you have already guessed the answer. They used the shofar, the first telephone.
The sound of the shofar tells us to get ready. We have to start thinking about all the things we did in the past year. Was I always kind? Did I always think about someone else's feelings?
Did I help other people as much as I could have? So much to think about. That is why we start to blow the shofar a whole month before Rosh Hashana. And then the shofar is blown 100 times the morning services of Rosh Hashana. Let's pretend we have a shofar. Maybe you have something near you that you can pretend is a shofar, like us. If you don't, use your hand cupped near your mouth. The first sound of the shofar is called tekiah. Can you say tekiah?
Tekiah.
Tekiah. It is one short sound. Now say tekiah again.
Tekiah.
All right. The next sound is shabarim. These are 3 short sounds. Yeah. Okay, I'll say shabarim and you try saying it again. Shabarim. That was 3 short sounds. The next sound is teruah. These are fast sounds. They are actually 7 short sounds. I think that might mean to hurry up and get ready.
Oh, let's see if I can do that.
Very good. Now, for the really long sound, you'll have to take a really big breath. Tekiah gadola. Wow, fantastic.
And everybody tried that? Wow.
I think it was fun. I hope everybody had fun trying.
We're coming now to the shofar blasts of Malchuyot, Zichronot, and Shofarot in our Musaf service. Malchuyot refers to God's majesty and presence right here on earth. On this, the anniversary of creation, we remember and notice God's creation. The shofar blast wakes us up to the majesty in the world and to the majesty of the potential in each of us, God's children. Zichronot refers to remembrance. The second set of blasts call upon us to remember on this day of remembrance. We look over the past year, we remember what's really important. We wake up to that. And finally, Shofarot. These are the blasts of redemption. You'll see images of redemption and a vision of the final shofar blast. More than anything, in that last Tekiah Gedolah, I hope you will have your own vision of redemption. We begin now with Malchuyot, page 262, Majesty.
שפתנו יערב לפניך אל רם ונישא ומבין ומאזין מביט ומקשיב לכל תקייתנו ותקבל ברחמים וברצון סדר מלכויותינו.
are going to hear another story, friends. It's called Apples and Honey by Joan Holub and Carrie Pillow. Apples are very special on Rosh Hashana. This is the time of year apple trees grow their apples. And apples have a round shape, just like the world. So they are perfect to help us celebrate Rosh Hashana. These children are making...
No, not yet. Rosh Hashana is the first day of the Jewish New Year. This special holiday is celebrated in autumn. On Rosh Hashana, we think about what happened in the past year. We wish for happiness, health, and peace in the new year.
Rosh Hashana is here. Hooray! Let's go apple picking today. Our basket is full.
We make some cards. We paint and glue. I send my New Year's wish to you. And here he wrote, Shalom, peace. My Star of David sparkles. And she wrote another card that said, Lashana Tova, Happy New Year. Have you made your cards? It's fun to make cards. These children are making them so pretty.
It's time for temple. We get dressed. We want to look our very best. Did you get new clothes for Rosh Hashanah and for school? It is fun to have something new in the new year. It's getting dressed.
Our rabbi speaks before the crowd. Dad blows the shofar extra loud. Oh, their daddy must have taken a really deep breath.
We're back at home. We're having fun. We cook a feast for everyone.
Looks like everyone's busy helping. It's dinner time. The candles shine. We pass the food and bless the wine. We always start Rosh Hashana a lot like we start our Shabbats. We have wine and candles and challah and yummy food.
We dip apples in honey for a treat. We hope our new year will be a sweet new year.
Will be sweet. And we hope your new year is sweet too. We've just been talking about all those apples.
Oh, that has made me...
Now, I have for you. Everybody see the apple tree now? This is a song about Farmer Brown and his apple tree. And I think Farmer Brown is going to be a very hungry farmer. Let's sing this song together. Farmer Brown had 5 green apples hanging from his tree.
Farmer Brown had 5 apples hanging from a tree.
And he picked 1 apple and he ate it hungrily. Now there are
4 green apples hanging on a tree.
Farmer Brown had 4 green apples hanging from his tree.
Farmer Brown had 4 apples hanging from a tree.
And he picked 1 apple and he ate it hungrily. Now they're
leaving 3 green apples hanging from the tree.
There are 3 green apples hanging from the tree.
Farmer Brown had three apples, green apples hanging from a tree.
And he picked one apple and he ate it hungrily,
Leaving two green apples hanging on a tree.
Farmer Brown had two green apples hanging on a tree.
Farmer Brown had two green apples hanging on a tree.
And he plucked one apple and he ate it hungrily. Oh, this is a tough apple to get off. Oh, yum, 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 yum.
Leaving
And now there's only one.
green apple hanging on a tree.
Farmer Brown had one green apple hanging on his tree.
Farmer Brown had one green apple hanging on a tree.
And he plucked that apple. And he ate it hungrily.
Leaving no green apples hanging on a tree.
Oh my goodness, you have no more apples left.
Oh, you were so hungry you ate it all.
Yummy.
Well, now we have another story for you. This time it's a story about vegetables. Do you think vegetables can be rude? Do you know what rude is? It is when someone says something or does something that is not nice and can make someone feel very bad. Well, this is a story about Talia and the rude vegetable. As she walked towards the garden shed carrying a big pot, Talia puzzled over her grandmother's request.
Could you go to the garden, please, Grandma asked her, and bring back 7 root vegetables, onions, garlic, turnips, parsnip, carrots, potatoes, and rutabagas. 7 is lucky, and with 7 root vegetables, raisins, and cinnamon, I'll cook a delicious stew to welcome the new year. Root vegetables? Wondered Talia. For a sweet new year? She lived in the city and had never done much gardening.
Taking a shovel from the shed, she walked to the garden. Rude vegetables, she thought again, pushing and shoving into the soil, pushing her shovel into the soil too. How can a vegetable be rude? Does it annoy its brothers and sisters? Does it talk back to its parents? Talia remembered being bossy to her brother, and she remembered being rude to her parents. Rosh Hashana is coming. I must ask for forgiveness, she thought.
Talia dug up a perfect round onion. Beautiful, she thought, but not what Grandma wants. She put the perfect round onion aside in a bushel basket. The next onion she tried to dig would not come out of the ground. She pulled and she tugged and she tugged and she pulled until finally she yanked it free. What an ornery onion, she thought. It won't do what it's told. This must be a rude vegetable. She put the ornery onion in the pot for Grandma. Then Talia went to the garlic patch.
She dug up perfect round garlic bulbs. These are gorgeous, she thought, but not what Grandma wants. She put the perfect round garlic bulbs in a bushel basket. Then she dug up an enormous pinkish purple garlic bulb. What a garish garlic, she said. It seems like a big show-off. This must be a rude vegetable. She put the garish garlic in the pot with the ordinary onion and carried the pot to where the carrots grew. Now we're going to the carrots.
Wow, she's at the carrot patch. Talia dug up a bunch of long, straight carrots. Wonderful, she thought, but not what Grandma wants. She put the long, straight carrots in the bushel basket. Then she dug up a fat, twisted carrot. What a crooked carrot, she exclaimed. This carrot looks like it was pushing its brothers and sisters around. It certainly is a rude vegetable. She put the crooked carrot in the pot with the garish garlic and the ornery onion and carried the pot to the turnip patch.
Well, Talia dug up 4 white turnips with pretty purple tops. Fabulous, she said, but not what Grandma wants. She put the purple and white turnips in the bushel basket. Talia dug and dug and dug up the next turnip, but it wouldn't budge. This terrible turnip, she thought, is just what Grandma wants. Talia pulled and dug and dug and pulled, and finally she wrenched the terrible turnip out of the ground. She put the terrible turnip in the pot with the crooked carrot, the garish garlic, and the ordinary onion. Now I have 4 rude vegetables, she counted, as she carried the pot to the potato patch.
Talia dug up small round potatoes and lumpy bumpy potatoes. She put the small round potatoes in the big bushel basket. The lumpy bumpy potatoes went into the pot with the terrible turnip and the crooked carrot, the garish garlic, and the ornery onion. She carried the pot to the parsnip patch. She dug up the long, skinny parsnips and she put them in the bushel basket. She dug up a big, ugly parsnip with twisted roots. This is a peculiar parsnip, she said, and put it in the pot with the lumpy, bumpy potatoes, the terrible turnip, the crooked carrots, the garish garlic, and the ornery onion.
She carried the pot to the rutabagas and smiled. Rutabagas are definitely rude. She dug up rutabagas and put them in the pot with the peculiar parsnip, the lumpy bumpy potatoes, terrible turnip, crooked carrot, garish garlic, and ordinary onion. Then she sat down to think. Grandma wanted rude vegetables, but surely somebody else could enjoy the others. So she left the pot in the garden and carried the bushel basket to the rabbi.
Here, Rabbi, she said, handing him the basket. I've picked enough vegetables for my grandmother. These are extras. Thank you, Talia, said the rabbi. These vegetables will help another family enjoy a sweet new year.
Talia returned to the garden and took the big pot to her grandmother. Grandma, I brought you root vegetables, just like you wanted, Talia said. Root vegetables? Her grandmother laughed. They're root vegetables, not rude vegetables, and they're very sweet, just like you. The rabbi called and told me you gave him food for the hungry. What a mitzvah! Now, she said, let's cook the vegetables, bake some cookies, and get ready for the new year. And so they did. Talia learned all about root vegetables. Root vegetables grow under the ground. You could all see how Talia had to dig them out. It was fun hearing why Talia thought some of the root vegetables were rude. But in the end, she did a big mitzvah, a good deed. because she knew Grandma didn't need all those vegetables and gave them to the rabbi, who could give them to a poor family, to have enough to eat for Rosh Hashana.
And now Talia knows all about root vegetables.